Step right up, all you freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds, to Kelsi's Carnival of Horrors. Carnival of Horror books, to be exact, because today we are going to be discussing my February TBR, which basically consists mostly of Carnival, Clown, Funhouse Fair, flippin' amusement park, theme park, horror! So I can't wait to discuss the titles that I'm going to read with you. Plus, I'm going to be talking a little bit about which books we're going to have live discussions for, and which book in particular won for my channel book club's official read for February. So stay right here and buckle in, because this ride is not going to be a safe and normal carnival ride. This is going to be a wild and horrific carnival ride. So I'll see you right back here after my short intro, and we'll dive in to the crazy carnival fun house. Welcome back, guys! Yeah, I'm wearing a ridiculous hat because I just wanted to show you how absurd and ridiculous it looks. I was thinking about wearing this because I wanted a top hat type of deal, because I'm supposed to look like, a flippin'... what are they called? Those guys at the circus, the guys! A ringleader, yes. I was going to try to do a whole ringleader type of deal. I have a tailcoat on, which was part of my costume when I was Groucho Marx back a long time ago for one of my Halloween parties that my family and I threw. I love the Marx Brothers, but I actually took inspiration not only from the Marx Brothers to dress as actual Groucho Marx. I took the costume idea from Freaks and Geeks, the show that I really, really love, and that's part of why I say welcome Freaks, Geeks, because I think Freaks kind of encompasses like a horror mindset, and Geeks kind of encompasses all like this pop culture and nostalgia type of influence that I have and love. So I thought that was a perfect combination, but it's also kind of a shout out to the show Freaks and Geeks, which I love. But yes, I'm a true geek because this is not a top hat. That's why I didn't wear it, but I just wanted you guys to laugh about it because, yeah, it's not a top hat. It doesn't work. Maybe I'll find a top hat for my February wrap-up when I get past February and we talk about what I read in February when we get into March. But just wanted to show you, yeah, it's a flippin' tailcoat. I had it sewn back when I was doing this Groucho costume, but I'm gonna change and come right back, and then we're gonna get into the TBR. So please excuse me for 1 second. Let's go. Alright, I am back. Dun, 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 dun. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go over is a book that was technically on my February TBR. However, I already finished it. As of today, I'm filming in January, and yeah, I finished this book. But I do want to mention it because it is the official pick for Kat and I as we go into February for our monthly Year of King reading project. So every month of the year, we're going to read a Stephen King short story or book that has been adapted into a movie or TV show. So that is like the one criteria that the book or story has to have. It has to have been adapted. So February's official pick is Gerald's Game. And yep, I finished it, and it'll be really interesting to talk about this with all of you. Our first Year of King read of 2022 is done, and the discussion is up on my channel right now. I will link it up here, but I'll also link it down there in the description for you. It was on Misery. Obviously, like I kind of alluded to, not only the book we discussed, we also discussed the movie, and we really broke it down, and I thought it was a wonderful conversation, and we interacted with people in the live chat, so that was so much fun. But again, I'm hoping Gerald's Game will be just as lively when it comes to the discussion, and that discussion will take place one of the last Sundays in February. So that live stream, mark your calendars if you want to join us. If you've already read Gerald's Game or plan to read it and plan to watch the movie, the show will be on Sunday, February 27th at 2 p.m. Central Time. Me and Kat will be together, and we'll be discussing the book and what we thought about it and a lot more. So if you guys join us, you'll have your opinions heard as well. Okay, now let's reveal what book won my channel book club vote that I put out. So what book will we be reading as a book club? And if you're not familiar, my book club that surrounds my channel is called the Midnight Book Society. Of course, in reference to the wonderful 90s show Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I very much love. So Dun, 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 what won? I actually put out 2 polls before I revealed the winner. Well, the first poll had 5 choices and the votes were all over the place. And then, so the second poll, I decided to narrow it down to the top 3 from that first poll so that other people would have a chance to vote if their book from the first poll was clearly not going to win. So in both the polls, actually, we had the same book that was in the lead, and that would be Tastes Like Candy by Ivy Tholen. So that is the official pick for February for my book club, but have no fear as we go on into this TBR. I will tell you that I am planning to do multiple live streams just like I did in January. I'm going to do the same thing for flippin' February. And this won't happen every single month, I promise. But basically, I'm reading a ton of these books that were in the poll anyway, so why not do multiple live streams? Because it seems like some of the books, even though it didn't win, the books got a lot of votes anyway. So we'll get into that as we go through the TBR. I'll let you know which things already have a live stream scheduled and which might get one scheduled soon, depending on what you guys think. All right, so Tastes Like Candy. One thing that's good about this being our book club read is that February is Women in Horror Month. So I think that's awesome that we've got a woman author and we're going to be checking out her book. And it's kind of a slashery type of book. So that's another pro about the book. And thirdly, it's just going to be very thematic to fit in with my overall monthly readathon. Again, this is just one book that we're going to be reading. I'm hosting an entire readathon, which means read as many books as you want. And guys, by the way, I know some people who have been wanting to participate in this readathon with me haven't known what to call the readathon. I wouldn't mind if you called it Freaky February Readathon, or Carnival Horror Readathon, or Kelsi's Carnival Readathon. Whatever you want to title it in your video if you decide to make a TBR video. I know my friend Amber made one. Thank you so much, Amber, for making that video. So pumped you're going to be participating in the readathon. So if you guys are not happy that another book didn't win, why don't you just read it as part of the readathon and participate in the entire readathon, not just the book club read. So yeah, it's going to be a whole big thing. So, just to give you a little info about Tastes Like Candy.
Everyone at Pritchett High wants an invitation to the senior scavenge. In 2020, Violet Warren and her friends are the lucky ones. 8 girls will break into the Poison Apple Carnival after hours for a scavenger hunt. Then at sunrise, they'll gather for a celebration in honor of their upcoming senior year. But someone else has another game planned. Dun dun dun.
Should be sinister and should be a blast. Alright, so right now you can get this book on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, it is free to read on there right now as I'm filming this. So that's another pro about this winning. It's free if you want to participate, if you have that service. So we will have our book club meeting and discussion to discuss Tastes Like Candy on Wednesday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully that day works for you guys. I know the day does not fall in February, but the end of February just feels like it's going to be coming so fast. February is a shorter month, and I thought, why not do it at the beginning of March to give everyone a little bit more time, especially because this is a whole readathon. So this might only be one book of your big stack to read. So that way you have a little extra time to get this one done. So again, Wednesday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully you guys can join. If you can, leave it in the comments. I want to know who's going to be there. The next flippin' pick for my TBR, specifically, which is going to be a part of my marathon, is House of Illusions by Ruby Jean Jensen. So here I have a new edition, and then an old school awesome edition, which is, like, if you look a certain way, there's like a zombie kid. There he is.
Zombie, 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 zombie.
Wait, that's bad. That's real bad. Anyway. It's terrible. So I just want to let you guys know right now that this newer edition of House of Illusions right now is available on Amazon for $3.25. Yes, a hardcover edition, $3.25. I think that's a steal. And I know a lot of you have actually expressed interest in reading this, even though this did not win the poll. It was a part of the poll for our possible book club read, but it did not win, alas. However, since many of you did express interest in this, I'm actually going to do another live stream discussion all about this book. So if you're planning on reading this as part of your readathon, or just because you want to read it, even if you're not participating in the readathon, well, join me for the live discussion chat, which will take place on Sunday, March 6th at 2 p.m. Central Time. So again, that's Sunday, March 6th at 2 p.m. Central Time. And this is going to be so much fun. So if you don't want to buy a physical copy, then you can also find this on Kindle for $2.99. That's not bad either. Not bad at all, I would say. I also created a little conversation area for this book on my Discord channel. My Discord channel, if you're not a part of it, we've been talking a lot about my Year of King reads with Kat, so there's a section for that. There's also a section for all of the January stuff that I did, because I actually had 2 book club picks for January. One was Christopher Pike's Slumber Party, the other was Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell, and now I've added a House of Illusions area to discuss this book as well. So check out the Discord. I will link it down in the description below if you haven't already joined it. We've been discussing stuff and it's been a lot of fun, and there's people already talking about House of Illusions right now as we speak. And if you want to avoid spoilers, guys, there's an easy way to do that on Discord, which I just learned. Gosh, it's so cool. So you can put 2 vertical bars before and after the text you want to hide. It blacks out any potential spoiler text, and that way people can decide to click on the black text if they've already finished the book and see what your spoiler is. But that way it keeps the text hidden from people who might be in the middle of the book and don't want to know too much about what's going on. So that's a little nifty feature that is on Discord. So yes, don't fear spoilers. It should be avoided quite easily using that feature. But yeah, I'm so pumped to get to this. You might be saying, why'd you buy this horrible photoshopped, cover edition of House of Illusions when you've got the badass old school edition? The simple reason behind it is these Ruby June Jensen old school books are so valuable, and even though mine is beat up, obviously you guys can see there are some creases here and spine creases as well. That's okay with me, but I don't want to further damage it by reading it because I have a feeling it would get even more beat up. Not on purpose, I try to be careful with the books, but it's just inevitable. You guys know this, you guys are readers. And so because of that, I was like, why not buy the hardcover? It's only $3, a little bit above $3, why not? And that way I don't have to be so afraid while reading the book. I could just handle it how I want to handle it and not be worried the entire time. So House of Illusions, here's the basic premise.
Amy and Jody hardly remembered their father, who lived and worked in a carnival, but now they were going to live with him. This could be great fun, Jody soon went exploring, got lost in the House of Mirrors, and there discovered a mysterious talisman.
Next up on my TBR for February and for my readathon is Richard Lehman's Funland, and I'm super pumped about this one, but also quite a bit nervous, I must admit, and be honest with you guys about it. I don't know how I'm going to feel, but we'll see. I'm going to obviously have thoughts after I read it, and I'm going to share it with all of you. This is a book that also received a lot of votes in my book club poll. It was a part of that poll. Did not win, but did get a lot of votes overall. And so I am putting it out to you guys to decide. Comment below, do you want a 3rd live stream chat about Funland? Or would you rather, as I go through this TBR, one of the other titles that I'm going to read, would you want a live stream discussion about one of those other books? So, make a note as you're watching this video what book you most would like a live stream discussion that hasn't already been scheduled for. I will basically determine by how many comments I get that shout out a particular book, what extra live stream to do. So if it's Funland that you want, shout it out in the comments, please. And that way I know, okay, I'm going to schedule a live stream, and it'll probably be at the beginning of March, just so you guys know. It won't be in February. So, if you want that, go ahead and make sure you let me know, because that's the only way I'll be able to kind of gauge what people want. I will say the reason I'm nervous is because my friend Ollie, he has a wonderful booktube channel. I will link it below. Please go and check him out because he's marvelous. He told me that he likes Richard Lehman, however, he didn't really enjoy Funland, which makes me kind of scared, as I said. And I'm like,
no!
I'm so pumped to get to this because I enjoyed Richard Lehman's book, Endless Night, so much. I read that last year, in 2021, and it blew me away in terms of tension and excitement. And so I'm hoping this one lives up to it, but Ollie is like,
nah, it's not living up.
But he said he still hopes I enjoy it. I mean, reading is subjective, so who knows, maybe I will enjoy it, but I have no idea. And because he likes other Lehman work, that's what got me worried. Now, if he just wasn't a fan of Lehman, I wouldn't have been worried at all, but because he is a fan of other Lehman stuff, but not so much this one, that's when I'm like, oh god, oh god. But again, and I know Ollie agrees, I'm always up for checking things out for myself and judging for myself, so I will still dive in and kind of form my own opinion, and I invite you guys to do the same if you're on the fence. Alright, so Funland, that's one of my picks. And let me remind you guys, so this TBR is in order from my biggest priority read to my, I'm not going to say least priority, but to the very last book that I'm going to mention is a book that I'd love to get to, that I'm going to try my hardest to get to, but again, it's in an order of priority. So these first few books are of highest priority, and then it's just going to books that I'm really going to try hard, but if I don't get to it, I'm going to try not to sweat it too much, and I'm going to try to read it in future months or even future years. But again, these books are really the ones I'm hoping to get to, because I could have put a whole bunch more besides the ones I'm mentioning today. In fact, just to give you guys a number, the TBR I'm talking about today is 14 books long. Or big, or however you want to describe the TBR in terms of, is it a stack, so it's, you know, that big, or is it a list like that long? So either way, it's a freaking large TBR in my opinion. And I will say, so Gerald's Game would make 15, but because I already read it, it's not technically a part of my TBR. So 14 other books, 15 if you include Gerald's Game, which we will be talking about in February. Let me know if you're going to plan to read this. Shout it out below, like I said, or if you want the live stream, shout that out below, just to reiterate. I don't want you guys to forget that. Also, if you are planning on participating in the Readathon in general, and you want to shout out about the Readathon and what you're reading for it on social media like Instagram, you could use 3 hashtags. You could use all 3, or you could use 1 of the 3, or you could use 2 of the 3, whatever you want. I'm going to be checking all 3 hashtags. So the first hashtag is hashtag Kelsi's Carnival. The second hashtag you could use to tag that you're participating is hashtag Parks and Freaks. That's kind of a play on, you know, Parks and Rec, the show Parks and Recreation. Also, it kind of is to indicate, obviously, that theme parks and amusement parks, plus carnival freak shows and carnivals in general and circuses are all included in the Readathon. And finally, the last hashtag you could choose to use is hashtag Parks and Freaks and Geeks, all one word, all together. So that one, you might be saying, what does geeks have to do with carnivals? Well, it's actually a certain type of person in a carnival they call geeks. And I actually have a book with that word in the title that is carnival related and circus related. And so, yes, geeks matches this theme. So again, the final third one that you could use is hashtag Parks and Freaks and Geeks. And of course, again, we've got the Parks and Freaks, like Parks and Rec, and then we get the Freaks and Geeks. So it's like a kind of a shout out to a whole bunch of different things at once. I just thought it was a fun hashtag. It was hard to pick one. Most people said they liked Kelsi's Carnival, but I'm saying you could use any of those or all of them if you want on social medias. Okay guys, next up on my February TBR is Fantasticland. I know this video is already going ridiculously long, I'm sorry, but I promise it should speed up from this point onward because there's no more live shows to tell you the dates for, and I don't really have to ask you for more comments, which I already did, and I don't have to talk about the hashtags, yada yada. And I will give a little bit more descriptions as I go forward as well. So Fantasticland. Essentially, this book is kind of like Lord of the Flies type of situation, but with people trapped in an abandoned amusement park because a hurricane hit it and people are all trapped in it for a long time, and things kind of escalate and people go crazy, kind of stuck there. And I heard that the format is really neat, kind of like interviews and written entries, just very fascinating style of book. So I can't wait to get into it. My friend Amber, who I already mentioned once in this video, over at Secondhand Reader, I'll link her again down below like I said, she is definitely planning on reading this, so I'm hoping to buddy read this with her, and whoever wants to tag along, let me know. In fact, if you guys want to read any of these with me, I'm always up for messaging on Instagram. Again, I have that Discord, so let me know if you want to buddy read anything that hasn't won the official book poll or that isn't already going to be discussed live. I am willing to talk about it on Instagram or wherever. It should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. I've heard great things. In fact, a few people commented that this was one of their favorite books they've ever read. I think 3 people commented that on one of my previous videos or on one of my posts. And I was like, whoa. So I am intrigued because of that, especially. Next up, I have Geek Love by Katherine Dunn, and this one's a pretty big priority for me. That's why it's kind of near the top of my TBR list, and that is because I checked this out from the library, and I'd like to actually make use of having checked it out and not just let it go to waste and return it without having read it. Plus, so many people told me, like, oh, this is a 5-star read from me. This was a 6-star read for me. So tons of people commenting on how this book was really awesome for them. And so it's got me really pumped, and it's got me intrigued as hell, and I just can't wait to get to it. Essentially, I believe the story is kind of about a carny family willing to go to extreme lengths and almost do anything to keep their family business afloat. So stuff gets interesting from there, and it just sounds so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. Anybody planning on reading this or has already read it? Let me know in the comments. Next up is a book I do not have a physical copy of, unfortunately. It is Freezer Burn by Joe R. Lansdale. And I know my friend over at Marcy Reads. Marcy is wonderful. If you somehow, some way, haven't already found her channel and checked her out, then please do so now. I will have her link down below. She's one of my favorite booktube channels. She's just so funny. Oh my god, she's so funny. I have more to say about her, but I'll do it in future videos where I'm talking about certain booktubers and stuff like that. But she's just a gem and a joy to watch for sure. She always makes me laugh and smile in a good way. And so she might be reading Freezer Burn. I know she said she was interested in that one, and I was already going to read it regardless, so I was like, oh, that's cool. So her being interested in it makes me even more interested in it than I was already to begin with, and so I think I'm definitely going to read it. That's why it's kind of higher up. I say higher up, I mean, it's like number, I think, 6 on my list right now.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, number 6 on my list. So, I mean, it doesn't sound high to you guys, but out of 14 potential reads, I think 6 is pretty high up there overall. And so, yeah, I've heard good things. Essentially, the plot is, I don't want to say too much about it, but it basically involves a character join in with a freak show when he's on the run for some reason. So that should be very interesting. I've already read a book by Joe R. Lansdale, which would be book 1 of the Drive-In series, and I thought it was so zany and wacky and weird, but in the best way. And it definitely had a lot of brutality in it at the same time, and tons of dark humor as well. So it had everything. It was definitely, I would describe it like strange fiction, but I can't wait to get into more of Lansdale's work, and I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity to dive into more. So, yay! Can't wait. Next up on the TBR, look at this frickin' cover! My god, look at it. I'm sorry, this is like an example of a great new cover where you see like House of Illusions by Ruby Jean Jensen. That's totally photoshopped. I actually don't think that hardcover of her book is that bad compared to some of the other ones I've seen, which are really bad and almost look like romance novels. Also, I have a copy of her book The Reckoning in a newer edition, and that also doesn't look that great. House of Illusions okay, but overall, the newer editions of her work and some other horror work, sometimes it isn't the best, the art. But in this case,
Oh!
it knocks your socks off. It really does. I know it blows me away, personally. And essentially, what I believe this is about, from what I've heard, I don't want to go into it knowing too much, but essentially I've heard that it's like 30 Days of Night, you know, the movie. It's also like a story in written form as well. But it's like 30 Days of Night, but with clowns. How could you get better than that? So I thought there'd be more interest in this book. I kind of put it out there, seeing if people would want to nominate it for our book club read for this month, or this upcoming month, but it didn't really get enough shout-outs for me to include it. So that was a bummer, because I think it's going to be awesome, and that's why it's on my personal TBR. So if anyone's interested in a potential buddy read, or if this is the pick that you want me to do a live stream discussion on, make sure you comment that below, or else I won't know. But yeah, you'll hear about my thoughts on this either way whenever I do the February wrap-up, probably sometime in March. So yeah, I'm going to try my hardest to get to this. Every book I have in my TBR is not short, except for like a few middle grade books I have. Otherwise, it's like painful how long all this stuff is. Thank God I already read Gerald's Game, and the reason I did is because I wanted February to just be carnival and fairs and fun houses and clowns and amusement and theme parks. I wanted to be immersed in the readathon. I didn't want to have to kind of jump out of it to read the Stephen King book, even though that is an ongoing project and it's supposed to be once a month, I was like, why not read it early if I am able to? And luckily I was. That way I can get immersed in stuff like clown flesh. Yes. I'm so ecstatic about this one, I gotta say. Next up, guys, on my TBR is clowns versus spiders. And honestly, I'm creeped out by both of those things. So how could this not be scary and effective horror? So I'm thinking it's also going to be a little bit hilarious and funny. And so, I don't know, it's just got all of these things firing off for me that make it very appealing. And another thing I do want to mention is, I know I mentioned a lot of these books in my initial Readathon announcement video, where I was giving you guys suggestions on what book we could read as a club, and also I was just giving suggestions in general, but there's actually a lot of books that I didn't even touch on in that video that are all, like, carnival themed type of books and reads that you guys could check out. And I actually have a whole long Google document list of a ton of suggestions for you guys, including some of the books I mentioned in that first initial video, that announcement video for the Readathon, but plenty more in addition. And actually, the list is 46 books long. So yes, my reads for my TBR are on there as well, but there's at least 20 more books that we're not going to be talking about because I'm not planning to read them per se myself. But if you guys are looking for more suggestions for more thematic books besides the ones I'm talking about here, or even besides the ones I talked about in that initial announcement video, then please check out my Google document link, which I will put down below for you guys. And again, tons of suggestions. I kind of really did a lot of research, and in that document I also include all of the links for the Goodreads pages for each book. So yes, check that out. Clowns versus Spiders, though, should be flippin' insane, and I am really looking forward to this one. I have to make it happen. I have to. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try my hardest. I don't know. Next up on my TBR is a book that's an insane chunker, and I don't even know what I was thinking putting this on there, but honestly, the synopsis kind of really intrigued me and really spoke to me, and so that is why I technically put it on there. I should have known that there's no way during a readathon I'm going to read this in addition to all these other long books, but I'm going to try. And that is the only reason, the length of the book, it's the only reason that it's not higher up on the TBR. That's literally the only thing holding it back from being high up. Alright, so the essential premise from what I have gathered is
16-year-old pianist George has joined vaudeville for one reason only, to find the man he suspects to be his father. He chases down his father's troupe, and he begins to understand that their performances are strange, even for vaudeville.
So something's amiss, and I just heard good things about this. It's got me really, really wondering what's going to happen. It's got my interest peaked, as I said. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, really, this shouldn't even be further down on the list. Like, this should be my last book I mentioned because, I mean, the length. But the story just sounds like a lot of fun, like it could be good. Next up is a book I don't have a physical copy of, but it's probably going to be fairly easy to find, probably on Kindle or some other kind of way. So this will be Dreamwoods by Patrick Lacey, and the essential premise is, "Follow your screams" is the tagline.
When Vince Carter takes a shortcut to work, he notices a billboard that nearly sends him into an oncoming van. The ad is for Dreamwoods, New England's answer to Disney World. It closed decades ago, but now that it's back in business, Vince is eager to take his whole family, hoping the magic he remembers will save his failing marriage. But there is more here than meets the eye.
So, it's like going to be a sinister theme park type of situation. That's why I put this one on my list. Just sounds like a really good plot, in my opinion. Next up is a book from a wonderful series of books that I've been checking out throughout 2021 and into this year. It's the Monster Street series. I've already read 2 books in the series, but this book I have not yet read, and that's why it's perfect for flippin' February, because this one is called Carnival. And obviously, you could see from the book cover that it has to do with a carnival. Here's like the ticket taker here, creepy kind of pumpkin head guy, jack-o'-lantern face. Wonderful. Look at this Ferris wheel with a clown face on it. Now, these are middle grade books, the whole series, and, you know, they're a little more simplistic, but like Goosebumps, I always find these reads fun and refreshing and easy, so why not add it to my list, because I know I can get through this one very fast and quick. And From my other Monster Street experiences from the other books, I think I will have a great time with this one. And Cameron Chaney, who I will link his channel down below, he has really touted this particular book in the series, and he's touted the whole series in general, but this one I've heard him say really good things about, so I have to get to it. I've been saving it for whenever I was going to do a carnival themed month, and that month has come, or is about to arrive, I should say, and it's going to be beyond fun. It's going to be flippin' amazing. Here we have another middle grade type of book. This is a Spine Chillers book, and specifically this one is Dr. Shivers Carnival. I have not read any Spine Chillers books, and I don't even know how popular they are. Now, of course, I've heard of series that are more Goosebump knockoff series, like I'm looking over here because I have a whole bunch. Spine Tinglers, Bone Chillers, flippin' Dead Time Stories. I just read A Graveyard School this past month. And so those are the type of Goosebumps knockoffs that I can recall and remember and are now familiar with even more. But this series, not so much. I don't even know how long it lasted or how prominent it was. How prominent it was. I can talk.
I can talk.
Alright, so this just looks fun. It was published in 1996. This creepy ringleader dude. See, this is what I wanted. I wanted a top hat. I hope I can find one for my monthly wrap-up so I can wear that with my fake tailcoat or whatever. My tailcoat doesn't fit as good anymore, I will admit. And so I just wanted to add another middle grade book. There's actually a Dead Time Stories that is short as well that has to do with like a merry-go-round. It's called the Terror Go-Round. And I'd love to get that one too, but it's not on my official TBR because I just don't think I'm gonna get there. But this one is officially on the TBR, so I'm excited about it. And by the way, my friend Heidi, she is marvelous. Her daughter, Rachel, is also really cool. Heidi told me about this, and so she's the reason I bought it, but I'm glad, so I'm not blaming her. I'm like, thank you for twisting my arm into buying yet another book. My arm really doesn't have to be twisted, to be honest. She just kind of showed it to me. She wasn't saying,
hey, buy this.
She was just like, here, look at this. This is thematic. And I was like,
Yeah.
And then I bought it. So it happens. But thank you, Heidi. I'm glad. Okay, and the final book I'm hoping to get to, and I don't have a physical copy of this one, but I'm hoping to get it from my library. This would be Twilight Eyes by Dean Koontz, and this one actually received quite a few votes in our book club poll, and it didn't win. In the first poll, it was in second place. In the second, more narrowed down poll of only 3 books, it was actually in last place. However, if this is the book you want to shout out for me to do a live discussion about, shout it out down below and I'll make it a bigger priority. But as of right now, it's kind of towards the bottom of my list. I'm still really hoping to get to it though. Just because it's at the bottom doesn't mean that I'm not excited about reading it and that I'm not wanting to read it, because obviously I do. It's on my TBR. Now, this one just sounds like a lot of fun, and I am looking for a good Dean Koontz read after not having liked the first book I read by him called The Mask. I will preface the first adult book I read by him. I read 2 children's books by him, which were fantastic. Those were called Santa's Twin and Robot Santa, and those were so cute and so creative and so fun. So I do recommend those. However, The Mask, which he wrote under the name Owen West originally, I didn't like that very much at all. And I've heard that that's not his best by far. Like, it's not even close. So that's okay. That's why Twilight Eyes, it's got a lot more positive things that I've been hearing about it. So I also will say that another book, if you're looking to kind of do a whole Koontz theme, you could also read Funhouse for this readathon, because that would be very thematic. And I'm not going to read it, but actually, to mention my friend Marcy again, Marcy is going to read it. Check her out. Like I said, her channel is Marcy Reads, and she's going to try to read that, I've heard. I don't know what month, but maybe this upcoming readathon month, I don't know. But I know she mentioned it in her latest video, so that could be a thematic read for anyone looking for more potential things to dig into for the thematic readathon. But essentially, for Twilight Eyes, that's the one that's on my TBR, and the premise is
Slim Mackenzie is no ordinary man. With eyes the color of twilight, he has been blessed with a psychic gift, premonitions. He's also been cursed, for Slim can see the monsters hiding among us, feeding on our suffering. And when Slim joins a traveling carnival seeking sanctuary, what he'll find is a hunting ground, with humanity as the prey.
Sounds really amazing. It does sound very good, I will say. Okay, and finally, I'm hoping to squeeze this in because my friend Kelly at Kelly Hooked on Books, she's on YouTube and she's also on Instagram. Like everyone I've mentioned in this video, she will be linked down below. She runs a wonderful book club where she reads a lot of vintage horror with people, and she has a Discord where she basically talks about these books with other people. So our book club is called the From Hell Book Club, and I'm a part of it, and I've read some books with them before, and their read for February is just calling to me. It's not carnival themed, so it won't match with the readathon. However, it's something I would love to throw in if I can. This is Elizabeth by Jessica Hamilton, but it's actually also Ken Greenhall is the person who wrote this. He wrote under Jessica Hamilton as well as Ken Greenhall. I read one book by Ken Greenhall in 2021. It was Hellhound, and it was amazing. Actually, it was beyond amazing. I freaking loved it. I can't even tell you how much I loved it. It was so enjoyable and so disturbing in the best way. So well written, too. So I cannot wait to get to another work by him. And so I thought, why not, if Kelly and her book club are reading it, why not try to squeeze it in? I actually read the first few pages like a year ago, just out of curiosity when I found the old school edition in a used bookstore. By the way, look at the old school edition. They just don't make covers like they used to. When you look at newer editions versus ones like these types of books, ugh, it kills you because it's not the same. These old school books are just marvelous and breathtaking in a sinister type of macabre way, you know? So yeah, this one's just great. And I cannot wait. I hope I can get to it. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try, Kelly. I really enjoy your book club. And guys, if you're wanting to check it out again, the links will be down below for her Instagram, where you could find the link to her Discord from there. So yes, and also her YouTube has the links as well. And also videos about the club in general. So yes, check all of that out down below. All right, well that actually does it for me for my TBR. I know this video has been insanely long, but there was a lot to promote. There was a lot to ask you guys to comment on. So just yet again to reiterate one more time, please comment any book, which would be basically like, what, the third or fourth live stream I'd be doing? It'd be technically the fourth live stream I'd be doing between late February and early March. But I don't mind doing live streams. They actually save me a lot of time in editing. So I do not mind doing another one if you guys are enjoying them in general. If you're not, that's okay. Let me know that in the comments too if you like the live streams or not. I already have, you know, a few up from January right now. Again, the one I mentioned about Misery with my friend Kat, and the one I did solo talking about Christopher Pike's Slumber Party, which was our first official book club read as the Midnight Book Society for January, and for the entire year it was our first one. So I think it went really well, and I was really excited that some people joined in, and I wore pajamas because obviously Slumber Party, you gotta have PJs for a slumber party. So if you guys like live streams, shout out what other book you'd like for a live stream. Just to reiterate the books that are going to get live streams already: Gerald's Game with my friend Kat. That live stream will be February 27th, 2 p.m. That's a Sunday. And again, all times are in Central Time. The second live stream will be Taste Like Candy, which is our official book club read. That live show will be Wednesday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Time. And the last already scheduled live stream will be a live stream discussing House of Illusions by Ruby Jean Jensen, and that will take place on Sunday, March 6th at 2 p.m. Central Time. Again, will there be a fourth live stream? What will it be? I'll only know if you comment your choice for that down below. But again, guys, thanks so much for joining me, and before we go, as a little treat for sticking with me for so long, here are some little goodies I want to show you. So this is Carnival and theme park theme, and this is Fear Street Fear Park, and I only had book one as of the announcement video I made announcing this whole readathon, which is the first Scream. But since then, I got the other two books. I didn't buy them. My friend Kat gave them to me as a birthday present because both of our birthdays are in January, so we exchanged gifts recently, and she got me the other two. Oh my god, let me just show you. All right, just incredible. Oh, this is the third one, The Last Scream. And here is the second one. Look at this. Flippin' merry-go-round. The Loudest Scream. So the first Scream, the Loudest Scream, and the Last Scream. Hell yeah. So if you guys are into Fear Street and you happen to have these books, which are kind of rare, I can't believe Kat got me the other two books. If you happen to have these, this would fit perfectly in with the readathon. I just wanted to show you, it was almost like a mini haul that I got the other two books, and I'm just over the moon about it. Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much. And a book I picked up in 2021 that I never hauled. So I picked this up from a bookstore in Seattle, and I believe it was Seattle, and it would also match the carnival theme and the fair type of theme. So this is The Black Carousel by Charles L. Grant, and just look at this lovely cover. I will let you see it up close in a second, but yes, this is frickin' bangin'. This is incredible. Look at this bloody jester face. Maybe it's not bloody, but it looks like it could be either makeup and blood, or at least red shadows. But yeah. The horse itself, super sinister looking.
Night. The carnival grounds are empty, or are they? Laughter and screams float faintly on the wind. Echoes of the day's fairgoers, or cries of the damned rising from hell.
Question mark. I don't know. So,
at the carnival's core is the Black Carousel, whirling to a special rhythm that is almost a heartbeat. Its creatures seem alive in the flickering lights as they spin hypnotically past, and those who dare to ride are forever changed.
I'm not gonna read this. I can't fit it in. But for the future, awesome. Also, if you happen to have this, it would also be thematic and fit right in. And if you don't have it, I just wanted to show you how cool it looks. This was a great find. It was expensive. It was a little more than I wanted to spend, but I had to have it because of the cover, and because I actually have quite a bit of Charles L. Grant's work. I kind of want to keep the collection growing, so I had never seen this before anywhere else, and because I saw it where I was in Seattle, I was like, I must get it. So I did. So hopefully you guys enjoyed those little bonuses at the end. Alright guys, that is truly it for me now. I know I always say that and then I'm not ready to actually leave, but this time I am ready. And so, till next time guys, you know what you can do. You know, keep on killing it. Thank you so much.